Apparently we're live. I was supposed to have a countdown timer on that screen, but that didn't happen for some reason. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. Welcome everybody. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. If you can't, let me know. Today we're going to be continuing on with our block development. At least my block. Just developing blocks. And I'm going to be working on adding the alignment option to the blocks toolbar, hopefully, and then adding a custom attributes and adding the attribute to the settings sidebar. Usually I have some plain JavaScript code that I can use, so I can do this for the toolbar. But I don't seem to have that option for the sidebar, so I might have to figure it out as we go, which is going to be interesting. So anyway, that's what we're up to today. So I'm going to add alignment here, and then I don't know what attributes I'm going to add because I want to, after this I'm going to work on supports, block supports, which is supporting things like colors and backgrounds and padding and those things. Just want to have a look here. I wonder if support says padding. It says anchor, align, custom color. So that'll cover background color and text color, so we can do that. Color background is just search for padding. Spacing, yeah, so spacing is supported, so that won't. So I won't need to add those as attributes. So I need to think about a custom attribute that I can add to this block that makes sense. There is an echo in the sound. Wonder why that is. Oh, there seems to be. How about now? Let me know if the sound is better. There seems to be. I had some issues with OBS today. Okay, thanks. I had some issues with OBS today, and I had to add a new source for my screen capture. And it looks like that comes with a audio source, so you're getting it twice. So I've just disabled the volume on that. So hopefully that'll work. I'll have to figure that out. Okay. Let's do some digging. So let's start with the block toolbar. So I want to add the option to set the alignment to my block, which it currently doesn't have. I can only set bold, italics. You probably find if I enable alignment, it'll probably enable it, but I want to do it manually, so that's fine. So it looks like it's just a case of adding it to the... No, that's supports. I don't want supports. Sorry. Looks like it's just a case of adding the alignment toolbar, so let's start by doing that. If this is the first time you're watching one of these streams, which it might be, I am working on this code. So it's the WP Learn JavaScript project repository. The last 3 sessions I've built out these things. I'm now going to be adding to this code, so this is all loaded up in here. There's my block code. That's what it looks like currently. And I'm now going to add to that. Oh, I don't want supports. Don't need theme support. I just need this code. Okay, so we're going to get the alignment toolbar, which works from the block editor. So that's great. And then looks like we set attributes alignment type string default none. Okay. So we already had content, so let's add alignment attribute. Put some quotes around it. Love the fact that JSON requires double quotes everywhere. It's one of the things I love about JSON. It's so strict. Okay, so there's the alignment. It's a string type. It doesn't have a default. Well, the default is none. Okay, cool. Put the alignment toolbar there. Don't need that. Okay, so alignment we'll get from the props. You're already passing in the attributes. Already getting the content there. So we might as well set the content up here to make things easier but later. Yeah. Okay, let's refactor that. So we'll say content equals attributes content. Now alignment equals attributes alignment. Yep. Got that on change already. We're going to need this one for the new alignment. So copy this out. I'm guessing that's going to trigger with something, some unchanged somewhere. I wonder if there's a link to the docs for the block controls and the alignment toolbar and block controls. Let's go looking for block controls in the references. Editor package, so that might already be in there. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so let's get block controls, make some notes here. Okay, and then the other thing we need is alignment toolbar. Over here as well. No, okay. Wonder if there's a reference doc for it. Might have just messed with my volume somehow. Hopefully you can also hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. If you can't hear the music, let me know. I touched something and it said something. Okay, so alignment toolbar. It's this one, which is the page we're looking at. Here we go. So let's just copy that out. And maybe even wonder why that's not in the docs. Making some fresh coffee. Okay, so I wonder why this is not added. Packages, block editor, source components, alignment control packages. So see in the package reference. That is the package reference. Interesting. That's the block editor package. Okay. I guess it's not the end of the world that it links through to GitHub. Yes, the alignment control must be inside block controls. Okay. I'm going to do something you probably shouldn't do on a stream, and that's below my nose because I put something in there. It's a downside to live streaming. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah. Okay, so then go over here. So then that's gonna be used somewhere. Okay, that makes sense. So then here. Okay, so now this is returning a div element, which we don't necessarily want. Oh, it's a div which has the block controls element, and then it has the rich text inside. Okay, so we do need to make that update. So we'll need to explain why we're making that update. And hopefully it'll all just work. We'll see. Okay, so basically we're creating an element. The parent element is going to be a div. The content is still linked to the paragraph, so that'll still work because the rich text is still a paragraph, so that's good. We need to specify the block controls, and then it looks like this is using the children option of the div, which is good to know. So what we need to do is we need to go back to create element and reference that. Create element is in element, WordPress element, create element, looking for the documentation there, and there's children descendant elements, so you can pass them in. Okay, so I need to link back to this and mention that you can pass multiple elements into. Okay, so let's just make some notes here. Because currently don't have any children. Look at our current create element. We're just returning the rich text component and then the properties. But now we're going to update. That's now the parent element. Now we're going to update everything to be inside of a div. So the first step, I think, is going to be just to. I've forgotten how to do this in PHP Storm. This is embarrassing. Yeah, I don't know, comment out code. Okay, so let's not do the alignment stuff yet. Looks like I've got two shortcuts doing the same thing. That's frustrating. Let me just set some preferences here. Keymap quick list plugins. I don't know where this is. Yeah, what is it? Going off tangent here, but Shift Command slash is opening up search. Which is weird. Oh, maybe. Tool windows, menu. I'm going to have to figure that out offline. I can't bother with it now. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I'm going to need to change this so that it's wrapping a div. So let's see if I can do it myself first. So we'll go div, right? Then the props. And I need to think about this. Probably needs to be block props. And then I don't know how to do that. Never done it before. Let's have a look. Oh, so it's a new element of rich text. This is what I need to change it to. Okay, so let's copy that out. So it's div, and then it's block props, slightly different. And then it's a new, actually, let me do it this way. Return. Okay, it's div, block props. And then it's a new element, which is a rich text element. Key is rich text. The tag name is P. Don't think I need the key. Let's take it out for now. Style I don't need because the style is being... Is it being applied via the CSS? I'll have to check that. Oh, the alignment I will need eventually, but that's fine. Okay. And then let's take this out for now. Okay, and then the value is attributes content, so we'll leave it like this. So I think this is going to be the first step, is going to be to update the element to have a div wrapper. Why? Because we need to put the block props in. Okay, we need to explain that. All right, so and then I'm going to put so step one is update the edit and save to be wrapped in a div. Okay, so let's go back a step here. Let's take out the alignment. We'll leave that like that. Okay. We'll update this to be wrapped in a div. Let's take this out. I'll take this out for now. And let me set this up in a branch. Yeah. So I'm going to stick this into a branch for now so that I can follow myself later. I'm going to go tool, Toolbar, sidebar. Downside of having one of these pour over jugs is it takes forever to make it. Upside is it's really good. I think I prefer that to espresso-based coffee. Espresso-based coffee is quicker if you've got like an espresso machine or one of those, but it's just tastier, in my opinion anyway. Okay, so we've got that in a branch now. Good, okay. So let's just get this to work so that it returns the updated block in a wrap div wrapper. This should all still work. This we can take out. And then we'll probably need to do the same here. And so it's, let me just copy this. So again, it's probably going to be a div. And then it's going to be block props. And then it's going to be something like this, I'm guessing. But instead of rich text, it's going to be rich text content. Tag name is P. We don't need the on change, just the value. We're not destructing attributes, so we can do it that way. Might change that later. That should. All right, we don't need that one. That should be right. Let's have a look at the source code. So div block props, rich text content, tag name. I see it's passing in a class name with alignment, which I don't think you need. Maybe you do. So I'm not going to worry about that now because I just want things to start working. But possibly you need that for alignment to work. But let's just make sure our block works now. Okay. So let's make sure this works. Okay. Move that. Switch on developer tools. Reload this. Just hide these for now. Okay. These are all related to not what I'm doing. So that's fine. I don't need the autosave. I don't need this. In fact, let me disable the custom fields. I was using these the other day, and I don't need them anymore. So I'll just disable them. Okay, cool. Turn that off. In case you're wondering, those errors are all related to... Well, let's have a look. That's due to jQuery migrate. It's a jQuery function that's been deprecated. So this is something that they're busy fixing in WordPress versions. DevTools phase, so there's a source map. Looks like there's a source map missing. Might want to log that. And there's some more jQuery migrate related issues, which I'm not too worried about. And then there's this, which is looks like a bug. So, oh no, this is a Chrome extension that I'm using. Some Chrome extension that I'm using is calling that. Don't even know what that is. I wonder if it'd be useful to... I like to see the warnings. So anyway, I'll just leave those there. Okay, let's add the block. Oh, look, it's slightly weird because of the div. That's cool. That's cool though. I think the padding that I'm applying is on the paragraph, not the div. So we might want to tweak that a little bit. See, there's the paragraph. And now it's busy applying the padding to the div. See that? So that's actually a useful thing to note. And the padding on the paragraph is happening because of this. No, that's a margin. It's a margin, that's a margin there. See, that's happening because of this editor styles wrapper. So that's a default block editor thing. So that's interesting to note. But it's also interesting to note that all of the use block props properties are now being applied to the div. So tab index, array label, blah, 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 which is what we expect, as well as the class. So therefore that's now being applied to the div tag, not the paragraph tag. And the paragraph tag, oh, that's interesting. Kind of is applying those colors, probably because it's inheriting them from the div. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we could now style the paragraph specifically. So if we wanted to, for example, set a custom margin. So let's say margin 0. For example, we could do that in the CSS. And we could do this. We could say, and this might actually be worth doing, P. So that'll be any paragraph within margin 0. I know how PHP Storm Copilot does that. And if we remove this and refresh, and add it back. No, it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. Oh. Oh, it has applied it, but the others have overridden it. Oh, that's because I'm adding it to the editor, not the style. Let's add it to the style. That should work. I think the style gets added, gets enqueued last, if I'm not mistaken. So let's remove and refresh. Don't care about the autosave. No, still not. Interesting. Learning things today. I'd have to make it ye old important, or use the block editor rich text editable rich text class. That probably would work. So let's do that just for the sake of doing it. It's actually not a bad little path to go down. So let's do this one. Let's just make it rich. Oh, wait, let's see what it does in the front end. So in the front end, it actually works because I added it to the style because it doesn't have the class. See that? So that works. So that is the right place to do it for the front end. But for the back end, we need to probably apply it to the block editor rich text editable class. So let's do that so that it's more specific. So this is actually a good example of where this comes in handy, which is kind of cool. So this should work. Should. Untested. Okay, let's remove it. Let's reload. Wait, I should not reload. Yay! Okay, so this is actually a good example of how to do this. How using style.css on the front end, and on the back end you have to do things differently because of the way things load differently. So I'm going to do that in my workshop. Updates to be wrapped in a div, thereby updating the those children to become the rich text component. Okay, and then update the style and editor CSS to fix the padding issue. Okay, cool. That's kind of cool. All right. So now I'm wondering if the alignment's going to mess with my custom styling. We'll have to see about that. All right, so now we've done that. So now the next step is to implement the alignment toolbar. So let's do that first. Yes, I think let's do that first. So let's do the toolbar and block controls first. Okay. And then I'm not going to worry about the unchange. It's going to throw me an error probably when I implement this, but I'm not going to worry about it now. And what I am going to do is I'm going to wait before I do that. Wait. I want to commit this so that I have it somewhere in my history. Okay. Date block wrapper to div element. Okay. Good. Now I can. No thanks, I don't need promotion. It's all good. Thank you. Okay. Right. I just banned somebody because they just spammed my chat. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I did it, so. I also noticed my chat doesn't seem to be working. It's supposed to be showing the chat window here. I'm having issues with a lot of things today. No, now it seems to be working. Strange. Anyway, if you're watching this on Twitch and you saw a channel about promoting and blah and blah, I just banned that person. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Don't come onto my channel and try and spam my viewers. It's my feeling. If you're here to watch me code, cool. I don't need to be promoted. Thanks very much. Okay, so let's implement the block controls. So the block controls, we're basically creating two elements here. So let's have a look at this code. So, and we're doing it before the rich text. So we can do multiple children. So this is a cool thing to do. So there's one child for this development, but we can pass multiple children to it. It's the way the function is set up. So we can do another one, and we can do that, and we can do that. And basically that's going to pass in the block controls with a key of controls. And then it's going to create another element of alignment toolbar inside of the block controls. The value is alignment, and then there's going to be an on-change requirement, which I'm going to remove for now. It's probably going to throw me an error, but that's going to be the first step. Now we need to set up block controls. So now we can go and grab block controls and alignment toolbar up here. Do it this way around. Okay, so that's that and that's that. And then that should work. Now, I need to check what this key is used for. So let's go and have a look at block controls. Alignment, block controls. I had a note here somewhere. There. Create element. So this is create a new tab here. Let's slot this in. This has key there. I'm guessing it's a requirement of some kind. It doesn't say why in the documentation. So I might need to go and dig into why. So let's put some questions. Why does block controls require a key of... Is it? Oh. I mean, I could take it out and see what happens. But I'm going to leave it in for now. And then we create another element, and then we're gonna I just whacked my microphone. I'm going to format this so that it looks more like the top element, because it's basically following the same pattern. So it's the element, and then it's the object of properties, and then it's any children of that element, which in this case, the children of block controls is the alignment toolbar. So there, element, block controls, there's the object, and then there's the children. We can actually move this back one. And then again, there's the object, the first parameter, which is the, oh, I can't remember. Let's create element. The type. First parameter is the type. The second parameter is the properties of the element. In this case, key controls. In this case, value alignment. Okay, values alignment we do have. Or don't we? We don't have it. So we kind of do need to set it up. I wonder if we should. I wonder what would happen if you don't have a value. Probably going to get a bunch of errors. I'm trying to pass in an empty object. I'm going to pass in an empty object, see what happens. Okay, and then do we need that on the save? I shouldn't think so. Yeah, doesn't look like we need it on the save. So that's good. Okay, so let's see what that code does, just like that. Guessing I'm going to see a bunch of errors and warnings and things. No, I didn't. But there's the alignment toolbar. It's probably not going to do anything. It's going to throw some errors. Okay, so that's cool. That is cool. So that's there, it's created it, it's rendered it, but it doesn't do nothing because it doesn't have an onChange function. I like that. Okay, so let's do that as the next step. So the next step is to, this needs to go higher up here. Practical, update, update that. Update the edit function to include the block controls, which includes the alignment toolbar, and see the error when you try and set the alignment. Cool. One of the few times I like seeing errors, but that tells us we need an onChange. So we need something to happen when the alignment changes. So we need to set up the onChange alignment just like we did with the onChange content. That makes sense to me. Okay, cool. So now we need to set up onChange in the alignment toolbar. So let's do that. And then at the same time, we set the value. So that also makes sense. So now we can implement those steps. So now we can add the attribute. So let's make a note of that. So now add the alignment attribute, pass it as a value to the alignment toolbar, and create the onChange event handler to update the attribute. That's cool. Okay, so I think my coffee's finished pouring, so I'm going to pour my coffee now. So that I can have a sip. So I was going to do the settings sidebar today. I don't think I'm going to, because I'm actually getting, I think, a decent chunk of work out of just adding this alignment attribute for the next workshop. And I think I would rather just stick to that than not. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, no, that's where we stopped. So let's commit this code. So this was step 2. Update. Okay, so this was update the function to include the block controls and the alignment toolbar. Okay. Yeah. Adding block controls and alignment toolbar. Apparently I can't spell. Oh. Excellent. Okay, so now we can this should be 2. Bleh. Apologies, that was my system digesting my coffee. Okay, so now we can add the alignment attribute. So it's a string and its default is null. And we can double quote all of this. This is where I should have actually left it here. If you're wondering why it doesn't come with that, it's because you can pass the attributes in multiple ways, and the code that I'm copying it from passes it in the block registration, whereas I'm doing it in the block.json. So it's all the same thing. Okay, so that adds the alignment attribute. Then we want to get the attribute. We want to set the value here. So we can go value, attributes alignment, perfect. And then we want to set it on change. No, we don't want to do it that way. We want on change alignment. Good. And then we want to specify the unchanged alignment. So believe it or not, I am coding this from sort of memory / what my code editor is suggesting to me. And then this is a cool way to do this. But I'm assuming it's what's going to be in the docs. See, so here they got prop set attributes, alignment, new alignment, undefined. That's exactly what we did. Yes, alignment, new alignment, undefined, set attributes, blah, blah, blah. Set attributes, cool. Okay. So this is a good thing to explain. So this is JavaScript's way of doing, I can't remember the word. JavaScript inline conditional or something. What's it called? Inline if statement. Ternary, there we go. JavaScript ternary operator. JavaScript turn. I don't know why they give it such a difficult name. Just call it inline conditional or something. So here we go. So it's basically a condition followed by a question mark. If the expression to execute is truthy, then a colon if it's falsy. So I hate that. Truthy and falsy. Basically, this is setting alignment to this whole statement. And this whole statement is basically saying, if new alignment is undefined, set it to none. So in other words, if we don't pass it a value. Otherwise, set it to whatever the value of new alignment is. And this is something that's only recently come to PHP. So some PHP folks don't quite understand how all this works. What wasn't that recent? Yeah, Tenure's been around in PHP for a while, I guess. But that's basically what that's doing there. So you could also do this code. You could do something like var alignment equals, which you could say if new alignment undefined, then new alignment none. You do that, and then you could say set attributes alignment, set attributes alignment near lines. You could do it that way, or you could do this one line here. It's the same thing. So it might be handy to show that. And that'll be like the first time this code loads, or if the alignment's not set, or if it's undefined, then I'll just switch it to none. Okay, so that does that. And then what I want us to be able to do is console log the attributes before the edit function renders the code, so we can see the change. Okay. I don't think that actually works. So let's do it in the unchanged, just so we can see it. Okay. Okay, so that should work. That'll still work probably, but it won't update the alignment. Okay, so let's test that. What's interesting is we're aligning the div, not the paragraph. Just remember that. Okay, let's remove that. I'll update this just so it doesn't give me that autosave warning. Okay, so now it's set to none. Center, you see it's happening after the effect. So I wonder if we should. I think that's because it gets. Oh, that's right. We need to log it in the save. Here. Props attributes alignment, because it'll get updated then passed to the save, and the save will fire, as far as I remember. Move. Doesn't seem to be doing quite what I want to do. Maybe I'm being silly. So now it's center. So it is kind of working. Okay, so I think it is working. I'm not quite sure, to be honest, where the right place is to console log the updated attributes. I would have thought it would have been after this. But let's see. Now, let's have a look here. Now, what they're doing is they are applying an alignment. Oh, and then we'll have to specify the class. See, alignment is probably under supports. So we'll have to do this manually. Okay, not the end of the world. So let's give it a class name so we can see the change happening. Okay, so that sets all of that. That passes alignment through to there. Tag name P, class name. So this is doing manually what supports does. So, okay. So let's give it a class name of let's say WP JavaScript align, and then it'll be left center, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And there's the values, and that will work. That should all work. So make a note of this. Add a custom class name to the save element so that we can style the alignment. Okay, so I'm just making a note of the fact that you wouldn't do it this way. This is just an example of how you could do it. One way to do it. So let's see what that looks like. And let's update that and cache and reload. And then add block. And then let's center align it. And if I preview this now, it should have that alignment applied there to the paragraph. And then we could apply styling, which I think would be text align center, for example. But you would need to pass that as a property. There. So it's that style on the rich text. Style text align alignment. Style text align alignment. Does that just work? Rich text tag name p style on change. Does that just work? Go back after the tag name. Yeah. Style text align would be attributes alignment. This doesn't work though, does it? Maybe you can do style here. That would be cool, if that is the case. Okay, so look. And maybe the chat was working, but nothing happened and there's nothing in the chat. Okay. Funny. Okay. Hey. Jeez. Yes, I'm specifically not using JSX by choice because of the series of workshops that I'm running on Learn WordPress. Just because there are a number of people out there who struggle with the whole Node.js installation, NPM build steps, and all of that. So this is really just me proving that it's possible to build blocks without using JSX. I personally prefer using JSX, but that's because when I first started building blocks, I first learned how to use React before I started building blocks. And the course that I did got me through setting up Node.js and NPM. And I was working full-time on an Ubuntu operating system at the time, so it was pretty easy actually to set it up. And I'm pretty command line savvy as well. So this is for folks that aren't comfortable on the command line, that aren't comfortable on doing all of that, and kind of proving that we can build blocks without needing any of that. And it's fun. It's another reason. It's fun. Thank you for the comments in the chat, because now I can see that the chat window is working on my stream. Yeah, and that's exactly another reason why. Many WordPress devs are not, they're used to, some of them, the closest they've gotten to a build step is minifying some CSS or JavaScript. So the whole concept of transpiling your code is not something that they're comfortable with. They're not comfortable on the command line. They're using local WP or devkinster or WAMP or MAMP. and they're just used to writing the code and then it deploys on the server. And I come from those days, and I still prefer those days of just writing code and it just works. So I'm actually enjoying writing the code that I can just run. And I don't know if I agree with that statement. If we think about other coding practices like C and those things, you have to compile your code. So I don't think it's a bad thing. There's definitely pros and cons, but I'm just enjoying just being able to write code and it works in the browser. So, and the point of these workshops that I'm doing is to show folks that it is possible. Okay. So let us. Hey, it works! My code works. My code hardly ever works. No, I'm kidding. So let's see what that actually does. That actually, you see it applies the styling inline, which is, some might think it's clunky. I think it's cool. There's many ways to do the same thing. When we switch to block supports, we're going to be using the default stuff anyway, so I don't mind the fact that it's an inline style. I just love the fact that it works. So that's really cool. So let's center that and let's preview this in a new tab. And it's centered. That's beautiful. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to see if I can get this updated, because this should really be the same as that, which is what we did here. So I'm going to log a ticket about that and see if we can get that. Make a note to myself. Workshop notes explain practical note to self. Log issue PR to fix example code for fix plain example code for the block toolbar. Actually, it's both. Example code for the block toolbar. Let's link to that. Does GitHub save drafts while you're typing in case you close the window accidentally? Not as far as I know. I think it's cached in the browser. So I think if I open up the browser, if I close this by mistake, it'll work. Do you want to test it? So let's copy this out. I'm going to open up my Slack instance and just paste it into my Slack bot over here, just so we don't lose it. And let's test it. I love living dangerously. Well, this is the cool thing. I've got it somewhere else, so I'm not living dangerously. Just don't close Slack. So let's see. Let's close. I think this saves in the cache of the browser. I'm not sure. So let's close that one. And then let's open up another one. And let's paste the link back in and see what happens. No, it doesn't. So there you go. So I'm living dangerously by just typing into my Git window and not saving it. That was fun. Thank you for that. I love doing stuff like that on a live stream. What I really should be doing is I usually use Simple Note for managing my notes. I really should be using Simple Note because Simple Note has an automatic saving option. But yeah, there you go. So let me just do this. Let's do that. Okay, so that's that. I want to add this link to my notes. And did I have any others open? Yeah, let's add line and control one below this one. Okay, so that's all of that, I think. Okay, and then add the custom class link. So this we can change. So this we can say, add the style attribute to the rich text element so that it uses all the style property, because that is the property. Add the style property to the rich text element, which uses that. must be some documentation for this text align business. So let's see if I can find that. It's maybe not. Oh, there we go. So there is that. I'm going to make a note of that. Okay, I think that's good to go. It's changing alignment, which is perfect. So we've added the alignment control to our block. That is perfect. What I'm going to do in next week's session is probably start working on block supports, just so that we can see how that works in terms of other things. I might cover the inspector controls, but I need to, the settings sidebar, but I need to come up with a good setting. And because originally my idea was to do the text color and the padding and the background color, but that you can actually do with supports. So I'm going to need to do some research on what is not supported on rich text so that I can do that manually in the settings sidebar, which might be the following sessions. I think I'll do supports first with the colors, now that we've done alignment. And then I might replace, because I think alignment is also a support, so I might replace that. And yeah, I think what we've got is good for the workshop on Thursday, which is usually an hour and a half. It took me an hour to put all of this together, and I'm going to have to take into account other folks doing it with me and questions and those things and intros and whatnot. So I think this is enough. And then if I don't take an hour and a half on Thursday, well, that's fine. I'll just wrap up early. So I'm going to save this comment. This is my workshop. And that's the end of the live stream. It's 3:30, so it's perfect timing because I normally set these live streams for an hour. Sometimes I go over because sometimes it takes longer, but I think this is a good place to stop today. So thank you all for joining me. How many of you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that's the most that I've had live streaming. I know Twitch sends me an email afterwards, so I'll make a note of that. And hopefully next week I'll figure out why my... Let me just switch over to that scene quickly. I'm supposed to be having in the middle of the screen, I'm supposed to have a countdown, which doesn't seem to be working. Don't know why that is. So I will figure that one out. Maybe I'll just change it to just say starting soon and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that's me for today. Thanks for joining me, folks. And if you want to see the more polished version of this, please do check it out on Thursday. If you want to see where that is, it's this link over here, which I will paste into the chat now. I mean, if anybody wants it, I'll do the more polished version of this. Why is it not being pasted? Where you can code a lot. I don't know why it's not pasting the link, but there it is. I'll be hosting the workshop on Thursday, which is the more polished version of this with slides and steps and breaks and whatever else, and less fumbling and umming and ahhing. But that's me for today. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all next week.